A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on Channel 1 MTV. My name is Ravi Gamage.
And I'm Kumarini Radhikarna. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
23 Indian fishermen released after being produced before the Mana Magistrates Court. Dasri Jayasekara states that the government should directly express its stance regarding the Channel 4 allegations. Parliamentarian Nishant Muthuhettikama issues a challenge over a protest scheduled to be staged in Alpitia. The government decides to amend laws to enable the construction of tourist hotels in close proximity to forest reserves. The JP says that civil administration needs to be established in the north.
For the stories in detail now. 23 Indian fishermen who were arrested for crossing the Sri Lankan maritime border were released based on the Attorney General's instructions. This was subsequent to these fishermen being produced before the Mana Magistrates Court today. A high-ranking police officer at the Pale Mana Police said that the group of Indian fishermen were brought to Mana from the Anuradhapura remand prison and subsequently released. He added that the group will be handed over to the Navy.
The office of the spokesperson of the US State Department asserts that the US hopes that Sri Lanka will look into alleged violations of international human rights law and accountability issues on its soil, while stating that failure to do so will lead the growing pressure from the international community to examine other options. Answering a question during last Monday's daily press briefing, the office of the spokesperson has reiterated its commitment to a full, credible and independent investigation of alleged violations of international human rights law and international humanitarian law and accountability for such violations. The office of the spokesperson of the US State Department in its response further states that while domestic authorities have the primary responsibility to ensure that those responsible for violations of international humanitarian law and human rights law are held accountable, international accountability mechanisms can become appropriate in circumstances in which a state is unable or unwilling to meet its obligations. In conclusion, the office of the spokesperson of the US State Department adds that it urges the government of Sri Lanka to quickly demonstrate that it is able and willing to meet the set obligations as it seeks reconciliation.
UNP MP Dasri Jayasekara states that the government should directly express its stance regarding the Channel 4 allegations. The parliamentarian made this statement during a media briefing held in Colombo today.
Channel 4 video pade sambandhava aandu maha loku.
The government created a huge ruckus over the Channel 4 video stating that the information stated therein was biased and unfounded. They say that they won't accept it. But what are they saying at present? The Commonwealth Secretariat has commended the steps taken by the Sri Lankan government to investigate the allegations levelled by the Channel 4 documentary. Taking steps to investigate the allegations means that the government accepts these charges. I call upon the government to clearly state as to what its stance is.
Meanwhile, the UNP parliamentarian took a swipe at his own party, stating that steps should be taken to reinstate those who were purged from the party's working committee.
Steps should be taken to nullify the actions taken against the party's working committee members who challenged the leadership of Ranil Wickremesinghe. Those such as Imithias Bakir Marker, Rosi Senanayak and Buddhika Patirana, who were a source of strength to our party, should be reinstated within the party's working committee. I personally made this request from the party leader. Likewise, the case filed by Sajith Premadasa should be withdrawn and a settlement should be reached. There shouldn't be issues within the party.
The annual prize giving of the Baddegam Christ Church Girls' School was held yesterday. The prize giving was held under the auspices of Education Minister Bandula Gunawardena.
Deputy Speaker of Parliament Chandama Veerakuri and Parliamentarian Nishant Muthuhettikama were among those present at the event.
University students are entering the universities after undergoing leadership training at army camps, although the UNP and JP are against this. Vijaypala Hettiarachi is against this. I requested for myself and him to be sent for this as well. We should also undergo this training as I need to lose some weight. There is no problem with my brain.
The parliamentarian also shared these views at the occasion.
The Matata Tita was established through the Mahinda Chintanaya. Non-state terrorism and drug kingpins such as Kudulal and Sotyupali are no more.
Nishant Muthuhettikama also commented on protest which is due to be held in Alpitia.
A protest will be held during the morning on the 1st of next month in Alpetia, challenging Nishantha Muthu Hettikama. I will travel to Alpetia on the 1st with a group of about 7,000 to 8,000 to challenge them. The police should not come. If they do, then everything will be messed up. The new IGP is a very talented individual. I believe that he will not deploy any policeman. We will be able to see ourselves on Final Cut unedited.
Meanwhile, at a media briefing held recently, United National Party Galle District Parliamentarian Gantha Karnathilaka shared these views.
We saw a Galle District Parliamentarian representing the government issue a challenge to hold a protest against the government on the other side of the Mentara Lake. We accept this challenge. We will hold a massive demonstration on the 1st of July at 3 p.m. in the Alpetia town.
The petition filed by former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca against the vacating of his parliamentary seat was called up before the Court of Appeal today. The case was taken up before a three-judge bench comprising of Justices W.L. Ranjit Silva, A.W.A. Salam and Upali Abhiratna.
President's Counsel Ramesh Silla, who is appearing on behalf of Sarath Fonseca, drew the attention of the court to the fact that Dayananda Dishanayake, who has been cited as a respondent in the petition, has vacated his post of Commissioner of Elections. He sought the permission of court to name the newly appointed Commissioner of Elections as a respondent in this petition. Granting permission to the request, court said that the new Commissioner of Elections should be named as a respondent and notice be issued on him. The court postponed the case until the 11th of July.
Politicians in the north are being assaulted by the government to create war again. The solution to the problem in the north is very simple. We the Sinhalese in the south need to understand the identity of the people in the north and east and understand the beauty of their culture. People in the north should not request for unnecessary things and not ask everything from India and decide to live with us.
The Election Secretariat states that polling cards for the upcoming local government polls will be handed over to the Postal Department by the 6th of July.
According to Additional Elections Commissioner W.P. Sumanasiri, more than 300,000 polling cards are due to be issued. The Election Secretariat adds that subsequent to the polling cards being handed over to the Postal Department on the 6th of July, distribution will take place until the 16th. The Additional Elections Commission also noted that special security measures have been implemented in this regard. According to the Election Secretariat, the ballot papers for postal voting for the upcoming local government polls will be handed over to the Postal Department by the 1st of July.
The JVP has called for the setting up of a proper civil administration in the north. Its Politburo member Anurukumara Dissanayake made this call during a media briefing held today.
What are the basic requirements of the people following the conclusion of the war? It is the establishment of a democratic environment. But the government has failed to do this. You know what happened in Kites recently. They're taking group photographs. The army is taking group photographs of families. This military rule should be done away with. Please establish civilian rule.
Dissanayake also commented on the all-party conference.
The president as well as certain Tamil politicians are showing the Tamil people the sun and the moon. Hence we denounce the all-party select committee and the parliamentary select committee. Not only that, the JAP will not take part in it.
Still in local news, United National Party parliamentarian Sujiva Senasinghe convened a media briefing today under the name Puravasi Handa.
We are suspicious about the fire which occurred at the Ministry of Economic Development. There are serious allegations against this ministry stating that they are receiving 10% or 15% commissions. These documents have been destroyed by the fire. Therefore, we are under the suspicion that this may have been an act of arson.
Views were expressed on the Sri Lanka Cricket Board as well.
We are keeping a close eye on the Sri Lanka Cricket Board. It is said that the board is making billions of losses. When Arjun Rantunga, Gamini Dissanayake got Sri Lanka the opportunity to play Test cricket, the Sri Lanka Cricket Board was making good profits. Today, subsequent to the World Cup, people said the cricket board is bankrupt.